Hi everyone, Luke Hatmaker here, host of the Daily Grind with your post-game bounce. Well, the Memphis Grizzlies won one, probably not in the manner that they wanted to, and definitely not in the manner that I saw this going. It was two totally different halves, but they did win. Let's say that. The Memphis Grizzlies won 132-120 against the Charlotte Hornets. And like I said, game of two totally different halves. The first half, to say it was all Memphis would be an understatement. The Grizzlies were up 78-48 at halftime. It's a 30-point lead for those of you non-mathematicians among us. 30-point lead is pretty darn good. Charlotte had 14 turnovers in the half. That was the story of the game. The Grizzlies were just capitalizing on these turnovers and keeping the pace moving, and they were able to get off to a more than exponential lead here. But second half came, and it just turned into a different ball game. Memphis went from having 7 turnovers in the first half to 8 in the third quarter alone. Again, that's 7 turnovers in the first half, 8 turnovers in the third quarter. That's different types of play right there, and the fouls were different in the second half. It was just felt like two very different ball games. The Grizzlies still were able to pull out a win, and a lot of that was on the back of their big three. Memphis's big three, that's Jaren Jackson Jr., Ja Morant, and Desmond Bane. They finished with 62 points, 12 rebounds, 22 assists, 3 blocks, and 3 steals. It's, again, the three guys, these three, they're just putting the team on their back. They did so against San Antonio. They did it again tonight. The big three are performing as they are aptly named. Another guy that showed out tonight, Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard had 18 points in the first half. It's awesome. It's not a career high, but a season high for him, and that was in the first half alone. He finished with 22 points, and I just want to point this out. Since Christmas, Luke Kennard is averaging 13 points, 4 assists, 4.2 rebounds. That's on 50% three-point shooting, and he's averaging at least 5.9 three-point attempts per game. This is the Luke Kennard that a lot of us have been clamoring to see, the one that shoots more threes because he can make those threes, and the one who's just more active on all other sides of the ball as well. Luke dunked tonight. I didn't know he could do that. Speaking of which, Jaylen Wells dunked tonight. I didn't know he could do that. And both those guys were important tonight. Outside the big three, outside of Ja, outside of Tripp, outside of Dez, Luke Kennard and Jaylen Wells. Jaylen Wells, you might not say this wasn't his best offensive game. He was 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Nothing super shiny there, but where he stood out was he was glued to LaMelo Ball's hip, and he was an irritant if I've ever seen one. He held LaMelo to 22 points, which LaMelo had to wait to the fourth quarter to get to 20. He had to wait to the fourth quarter to make his first 3. I mean, LaMelo was clearly agitated by Jaylen the entire game, and that's the Jaylen Wells experience. It's what it's turning into. He's guarding the best player, and he's doing so in spades, and it's really awesome to see. This is a second-round pick, by the way, for those of you who had forgotten. Gigi Jackson continues to get integrated into this lineup. He played 10 minutes tonight, 3 points, 2 rebounds, no assists. He's gonna have to figure out where he fits in this rotation, and more importantly, Taylor Jenkins is gonna have to figure out where he fits in this rotation because the kid needs to play. Not much else to take away from this game. Like I said, it was a bit more of a nail-biter than I wanted it to be. When you were up 35 at some point, you maybe hope for a little bit of a better outcome. You're still a dub. The Grizzlies still won. They still had a great showing from our big three. Ja, Jaren, Dez, all three played great tonight. Luke played great off the bench. Jay Huff played great in the minutes he got. Just an all-around team win. You love to see it. Good teams beat bad teams, and not only beat bad teams, but they're able to blow the brakes off bad teams, and the Grizzlies were well on their way to doing that. The Grizzlies are going to be back in action on Friday when they play the New Orleans Pelicans, so stay tuned to that. In the meantime, y'all, thanks for watching the game. Go Grizz. We'll see you next time.